Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
And a jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining us this morning is the former secretary at Pressifac, Mr. Lasso de Silva. Very good morning to you, Lasso.
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning to you.
And thank you for coming on Newsline. What have you been doing apart from enjoying your retirement? Have you been following the events of the various corruption and so on?
Actually, from the day that I was maybe sent home, I've been watching the situation and I've been collecting all the data in order to write to the newspapers about what I certainly feel about the country and what needs to be done.
And that's how you have. And what are your observations? What's going on at Pressifac? We hear people making regular visits there, but it's almost become a circus.
That's what the people tell me too, but unfortunately I don't want to comment on that because I am no longer there.
No, that's right. But what I'm saying is, as a person with some knowledge of it before, and now in your private capacity as citizen Lasso.
Yeah, as a citizen, I would like to tell the country this way. Now, basically, the president, president gave an assurance to the country during the course of the election campaign that there is a massive amount of corruption and there has to be strong institutions built up. And soon after, if he is elected, that he will set up a presidential commission. And I was happy that I was appointed as the secretary because I did all the very best I could have done to make it efficient and to make it viable and to serve the country, to make the people feel that we are on the right track.
Let's say when as I follow these things, and I was away for a while and I've come back, it appears to me that every so-called deal, or where there is some suspicion, is in the millions of dollars. It has gone into some different stratosphere. For example, we have the news of a loan facility, a commercial loan facility of $1 billion arranged by a Japanese bank. And that is the Japanese connection because it's a Japanese bank. But it's a facility for Section 3 of the Central Expressway, and to build also to build a road between Kelaniya and Rajgiriya. Now, the terms of this loan are rather astonishing because we have a copy of what purports to be a memo from the Prime Minister's office. And in there, it says that this is an upfront payment. They term it insurance. It's actually sort of an arrangement fee. But that arrangement fee is based on 10.07%. That's double digits.
Which was about 7% previously.
Previously, after the war, under the Rajapaksa administration, I seem to remember that they brought it down from double digits to somewhere around the 7% mark. Now the point here is that this is a facility, and 7 years after the end of the war, surely various risks are now minuscule, and it wouldn't warrant a double-digit arrangement fee. But that is what is happening, and what is more worrying is whether this project costs $700 million or whether it costs $1 billion, their fee is the same. It's just over $100 million up front. Up front. That's a lot of money. You take Sri Lankan Airlines. They are reportedly paying a penalty to the leasing company,
Correct.
HP, I think, of $100 million.
That's correct.
So it's $100 million every time. If we had $100 million for our Gammada program, we could do
You could have done
absolute
wonders.
wonders. Absolutely, absolute wonders. The forgotten people of Sri Lanka, those people out there in those rural areas who are missing out on the most basic essentials, or the basic essentials,
Medicines,
the
schools.
medicines, the schools, the water, the power, and communication, and to live without fear of being attacked by elephants, for example. Those people, $100 million would have gone a long, long way. Why the Malays? Why do you think politicians are as they are? Don't they have any feelings? Are they all suffering from Asperger's syndrome?
Actually, I would say you should not blame the politicians alone. Partly the bureaucrats, the system is also faulty.
Right.
Now, we have to create strong institutions. Basically, the biggest problem is over the last couple of decades, the parliament, for that matter, the members, I believe to a great extent they were looking after themselves personally. They were never interested, they were not bothered to give the kind of service that they were expected to do. So, unfortunate situation is even this government during the period of elections, they made all the promises after promises, and they have come back to a situation similarly what we accused, say, the former regime.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is, are we going to, as the general public, should we just keep the eyes closed? Because our role does not end simply after voting, having elected the government.
Yeah.
We need to take up these issues, talk about all that, then take it up with the government and push through whatever the corrections needed. Because my problem is the present government also have not done the needful to strengthen the institutions. Basically, the Auditor General, I would say. Now start with the Auditor General. The present government itself, brought in the 19th Amendment. Now, having brought the 19th Amendment, the most important thing is institutionally.
Yeah.
Now, this kind of things could be overcome, provided if you have a strong Auditor General. Now, there is an amending law, say enabling law, which is required after having introduced the 19th Amendment. Now, that they have stalled. My problem is, without creating strong institutions or without bringing in people more ethical governance to the system, I don't think nothing can be done to achieve what the people require. They will continuously go on like this, and there's no reason to fear. Even the next government that will come into power, they'll promise all the kinds of things, and then they'll do the same thing. Ultimately, people will be on the road.
Are you worried, Lasil, at the direction that this country is heading?
Yeah, definitely, because day by day, now, the public sector is becoming weaker. Right? They gave all the promises to strengthen the public sector. And unfortunately, I don't think it is possible, because even after having created various whatever institutions, say the PSC, Public Services Commission, right? Still, the Article number 55(2) specifically stipulates that the senior appointments like secretaries, heads of departments, all that could be done, appointed by the government.
Yeah.
So this system has to be changed. Now the problem is, they create a situation, the politicians from 70s onwards, they have created a situation where the public servant has been weakened. Now the public servant ultimately became a situation, they became a tool. Now what they do is they use the public servant in order to achieve their objectives.
Yeah.
What we need to do is to strengthen the public sector and go ahead with whatever the proposals that they have say promised, and tell the government to ensure that those institutions are created without further delay.
Right.
I believe that's the way we have to set about.
Right. What about the long-suffering public? What is happening to them? Can we continuously take these hits? It's all cumulative after all. For example, the bond matter. We where he highlighted the strong possibility of a conflict of interest situation, which appears to have come to pass with the leaking of this report. But then in an astonishing statement, we have a statement from the central bank that they're reporting the matter to the law enforcement authorities. I presume that means the police, as to find out as to how it leaked the document. Now, perhaps you need that as well, but they need to look at what that report contains.
Definitely.
It contains an absolutely, if it is genuine, because we don't know that either, and if it is genuine and if it's found to be true, then what that report contains is an absolute, utter indictment on the relationship between the former governor and this one company. That one company completely abused the system, according to this leaked and unconfirmed report. We must say this again and again, that it is an unconfirmed report, because the central bank, apart from saying that they are reporting the matter to the law enforcement agencies, haven't actually said whether this is a true or false report. I mean, we can imagine that if it was false, they're not going to complain to the police.
Yeah, that's correct.
But, you know, bottom line is, what about the people?
Yeah, the unfortunate situation is ultimately corruption, you know. Say always that has ripple effects. What has really happened is the people, they don't have, like what you said, they don't have schools, they don't have medicine, they don't have proper water, so there is no drinking water, all kinds of problems. And end of the day, we find even the present government to a great extent, right? They are busy planning out various things, talking about most of the things, and I wonder whether they are living in a world of their own without finding practical solutions for the basic problems the people require. Unfortunate situation is now every day you find people on the streets asking for higher wages or asking for water, these kind of things. And also now the biggest problem that you said was there is continuous corruption, and there is corruption, according to what we gather, in each and every nook and corner.
Yeah.
So what is the present government doing to stop? I believe anyway the most important that they think that they should do is to strengthen, according to the promises they have given, places like the FCID, the Bribery Commission, the Presifact, all the places.
You want to see these organizations strengthened?
Strengthened. And at the same time, strengthening does not mean actually you have to have good people.
Yeah.
What is seriously lacking in this whole system? We don't have good people. That's what even Lee Kuan Yew had said. There were a lot of things to be done in the country, but unfortunately we need good people, and he had a big problem in finding good people. Ultimately he said, I had found good people to fulfill the promises, to deliver goods. So you know where Singapore today, unless we also find good people and put them in those seats and then do a good job of work, I don't think this government also could do anything better than what the previous regime did.
On that note, Lesser December, we'll take a short break. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline. And welcome back to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, and broadcasting on TV1, a Capital Maharaja company. And we're joined this morning by Mr. Lesser De Silva. Lesser, you have a link to the Parliament where you've served for several years. Do you think that Parliament can deliver to the people its expectations?
That is also one of the biggest problems in my mind, basically, because Parliament represents the people. The people, again, say there's some kind of a link with the people, and the Parliament has to be made accountable to the government has to be made accountable to the government. So whether it happens, unfortunately it doesn't happen. Now a good example is the consultative committee system, public accounts committee and the COPE, all that, right?
Yeah.
There were a number of reports published even in the previous parliament. Unfortunately nothing had been gone into. Similarly, if this continues, there has to be an effective parliament ultimately to deliver if the country has to go forward, because it is the parliament which will have the oversight powers, everything, in order to take the country forward. So my argument is the parliament at the moment lacks the direction, the capacity, the ability, and therefore I believe the Prime Minister wanted to establish these oversight committees. Whether even the oversight committees could deliver the expectations of the Prime Minister, I doubt. Because there is internal fighting, I believe. There is no...
Internal fighting where? Between the intra-party or inter-party?
I would say now, this is a new concept and the chairman is elected from the opposition. So that's a good thing. Unfortunately, the minister does not play a good, important role in this whole system. I believe even the officers who come there does not seem to be happy, because very often what happens is, you know, they are scared. They don't want to openly talk.
What are they scared of? For their jobs?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem is our system at the moment. You know, you have to ensure, and what they do is they look after and they want to ensure their safety. So the biggest problem is they are not bothered about delivery of promises or the delivery of their functions and responsibilities. So it has come to a situation Parliament has to be made more effective and efficient to make the country go forward. Unless it is done, I don't think it will be possible for the country to go forward. The most important thing the Prime Minister expects is, you know, the Parliament to be accountable. Right? If the government can't be made accountable, there's a problem.
So you feel that the people are being shortchanged, but isn't the real problem not the people voting the same people in, but the same people are being voted in because the same parties nominate the same people?
This is one of the problem. The system that has been there from 1978 onwards with this proportional representation, right? Actually, it's the money that works. They invest a lot of money, and in turn, after they are elected again, the system, you know, encourages to be corrupt in the sense to create more money. Unfortunately, they don't look after the needs of the people. So this is the system that needs to be changed. I believe even the electoral system will have to be changed if that is the case. So on the whole, systems will have to be changed to ultimately deliver the
But let's say I'm troubled and I'm frustrated because every government that comes in, they're forever changing. When are they going to start delivering?
Yeah, this is because there is no continuous programs, policies in the system. Now, talk about education, right? At the time there's a change of a minister, then the system changes. Unfortunately, it can't happen. Now, what Dr. Kandangara planned ultimately today has not got materialized. Ultimately, it's in bits and pieces, really. It's totally ineffective, and there are the problems that needs to be sorted out. Similarly, the biggest problem is there is no continuation, and it does not meet the requirements of the people.
And how easy do you think it is to change that culture?
Yeah, change the culture. I think the party leadership should definitely think of people who could definitely do the, you know, attend to planning, implementation, all that in a more effective way. At the moment, we are short of good, capable, efficient people in Parliament who could deliver.
But the problem is that the parties must nominate so-called clean clean men and women.
Yes, the important thing is we have to have clean, ethical type of people who will run an ethical government.
Yeah.
So as long as, those things are lacking in the system, I believe a democracy can't, deliver a democratic government.
If I may say so, Lasil, what an unfortunate choice of words to describe this sorry state, because at the end of the day, the people continue to suffer, and the government, whichever government it is, willy-nilly, they're carrying on without paying attention to the need to deliver. We have all sorts of documents here. This facility, as I told you, is from a Japanese bank. That doesn't mean it's Japanese government-to-government funding. And here you have an attempt by the minister and by the RDA to rope the Japanese embassy into this exercise and ask for a recommendation of 3 companies to do the work and 3 companies for consultancy. But national tender procurement guidelines dictates that there is a proper tender process, and a proper tender process does not include the ability to bring in 3 Japanese companies and ask them, in a sort of a closed tender, because this is not a government-to-government deal. And obviously the people behind all this feel that they can hoodwink the people by saying, oh well, it's a Japanese government, and so the government of Japan are recommending 3 companies to bid for it. 2 companies have dropped out, and the remaining company has deemed it fit in their wit and in their wisdom to not provide the bid bond or the bid security.
Yeah, the biggest problem is during the last several decades, they have not followed the tender procedure, and they have used possibly say politically connected their own people in order to hand over entrust contracts and things like that.
Yeah.
So these systems need to be changed. Now there are rules, regulations, but as long as they don't observe or they don't respect, eventually the country suffers. Now it has been proved beyond doubt, all the contracts, all the whatever deals that they have pushed through in behind the scene without observing the proper tender procedures have ultimately created a lot of problems to the country and to the people. I believe this is why I say there has to be Parliament with the various other institutions strengthen the Auditor General. Now without strengthening all those institutions, without giving necessary powers, or without officers and politicians who are prepared to observe ethically the procedures and rules, laws and all that, I believe day by day the country is destined, and we will never be able to get out of this rut. We will be going into further down and to the bottom.
How do we kickstart this process?
Yeah, the problem is, this needs political will. What has happened is, they give all kinds of promises. As long as, people ultimately get deceived, because during the last regime, say they did all kinds of things, maybe certain things like what they are doing right now, and the present government made use of all that as slogans. So even people, I believe the civil society, everybody, they wanted the previous government thrown out, elected them. The duty that the present government is now, the duty before them is to ensure that they fall in line with the rules, regulations and respect ethical governance. What is important is that.
Are we a long way off from ethical governance?
I believe it is so. I believe it is so.
So basically the people have been let down yet again.
This is what has happened, I believe, to a certain extent, because it doesn't look as if what was promised. Now see, the constitutional arrangements, they say it'll be there somewhere in the month of November or so. I believe if the constitution is changed, now we have changed 2 constitutions.
Yeah.
All the provisions are there, all the laws are there, but unfortunately the people who implemented or who observed, they didn't follow the constitutional provisions. So it came to a situation, however much the constitutions are changed, I don't think you can take the country forward unless you have good people also therein. So these are the biggest problems I think the country is facing right now.
And what would you urge the average citizen to do?
I believe the average citizen, of course, always get, I don't think it's the civil society, the educated, the elite.
Is it a good thing for all our concerned citizens to write to whoever it is, drop them an email?
But the problem, even if you write emails or even if you go and hold discussions, sometimes those things have not, say, given the necessary outcomes. But there have to be good, strong civil society personnel who will come forward and fight on behalf of the poor innocent people who don't seem to understand what is right from wrong.
So the ramifications are horrendous if we don't get it going.
Definitely, it'll be horrendous. Really, it'll be very bad.
And Lasil, one thing that is undeniable is is media freedom, because we all seem to be working on saying what we want, exactly how and so on. But there is also this business which is serious, is when the media is being berreted and told off within the sanctity of Parliament. That doesn't necessarily frighten the media, but it's poor form, isn't it?
Yeah, basically I would say now there is better media freedom right now compared to the previous system, previous regime. So I don't think we should be frightened now. Even in my case, I've been writing about all types of issues, and the media should go on. Media should, because it's their responsibility, and they have done a lot during the last election too. I believe even this government, the program, and various other similar institutions, they are doing so much. I don't think they should get discouraged. They should be further encouraged, because somebody had said, even if there is a failure, right, try and see how you could overcome, right? What you need to do is not to give up hopes for the benefit of the people, and we have to do what we need to do for the service for the country.
Thank you very much, Lasil de Silva. I like those words. We must do what we can, and we look forward to having you on one of our programs again soon. In the meantime, carry on keeping an eye out on what's happening out there. Thank you for watching Newsline. We'll catch you again tomorrow, where we hope to have a very interesting guest, as interesting as Lasil de Silva. Take care, have a great day, and God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukut Ali.